If you are ready to slay your limiting beliefs and step into the greatest expression of who you are and who you are meant to be, or if you're just curious about what a brown girl in a hijab with these huge fake eyelashes has to say, stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Masoodha and I'm a personal development coach, and for those of you who know me, you know that I am all things self-development obsessed. Thank you so much for dropping by and watching this video. A huge shout out to everybody who supported me during this time, my debut video, so please do forgive anything that is not YouTube worthy. So yeah, let's get started. If you are asking yourself why you should be listening to me over everybody else who shares their expertise on this topic, let me just say that the mere fact that I have uploaded this video, got this channel started, launched my business 2 months into adopting the specific technique that I'm going to be sharing with you at the end of this video, after procrastinating with this for 2.5 to 3 years because of my self-limiting beliefs, is testament enough. Secondly, this is a topic that I am deeply passionate about because of my own personal journey and my own personal struggle with self-limiting beliefs. And I've always had this knowing that every single one of us has the ability to tap into our most extraordinary selves once we learn how to get out of our own way. So to finally find a technique that addresses self-limiting beliefs at its core level, for me, has been nothing short of transformational. And I am really excited to share this with you. In fact, I just felt compelled. It's such a simple technique, so easy to use. So, you know, it's just people need to know. Basically, people need to know. So if you're anything like me and you have struggled with self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, negative self-talk, just as knowing that you're not living up to your greatest potential, and you know, things just start coming up and showing up in your life and you cannot understand why or what is going on. Or you could be somebody who is pretty confident, you're excelling in certain areas of your life, but then there are other areas where, you know, you're coming up against certain challenges, you see a specific pattern and you have no clue what, why, or how. Now, I'm here to tell you that there is one common denominator. Yeah, you guessed it, self-limiting beliefs. Now, this is a point where you're like, okay, thanks, it's been great, but I don't think you really know what you're talking about. Just give this video a chance. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat that the ideas that I'm sharing in this video are unconventional, but watch this with an open mind. It's unconventional, but let me tell you, transformational. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to break down the idea of self-limiting beliefs. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because unless you're familiar with the likes of Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, you are about to understand limitations in a whole new light. Your mind is about to be blown. So let's get into this, right? In order to unpack this, we need to understand two concepts. So I'm going to break it down into energy and the brain. Okay, now to all my South Africans, when I talk about energy, I am in no way referring to Eskom. So some of you may be familiar with the concept of the law of attraction that was popularized a couple of years ago in the movie and the book, The Secret. And basically what that law stated was that everything is energy and everything interacts with each other in an energetic field. Right? The same applies to us as human beings. We're basically organized patterns of energy, right? Now, one of the distinct properties of energy is that it vibrates at a specific frequency, right? So you get low vibrational frequencies and high vibrational frequencies. And based on that, we're attracting specific circumstances, etc., into our lives. So that's basically what the law of attraction stated, but that's for a different video altogether. What I want us to take from this concept is that based on this fact that everything is vibrating at a particular frequency, that means that us as human beings, as energy, we're basically broadcasting a specific pattern of energy. So we're basically vibrating at a specific frequency. So what is it that determines the level that we're vibrating at? Consciousness, right? Now, consciousness is broken down into two things: your thoughts and your feelings. I'm going to get into thoughts in just a minute when we talk about the brain, but I just want to spend a little time talking about feelings, aka emotions, right? Now, emotions are energy in motion. Mind blown. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, how have I never? Now, to help us understand this idea of energy in motion, I want to bring your attention to this picture called a continuum of energy. Now, you'll see it features different types of emotions. So we've got our negative emotions that feature really low at the bottom of this continuum, and then you've got more positive emotions that feature higher up on this continuum. Now, next to it, you'll see its measured frequency level. Now, it makes sense that negative emotions vibrate at lower vibrational frequencies and more positive emotions feature at higher vibrational frequencies. Now, the interesting thing to note here is both the heart that's responsible for our emotions and the brain that's responsible for thought and creativity both emit an electromagnetic field that can be measured outside of the body. But the fascinating thing is that the heart emits an electromagnetic field that is 60 times greater than the brain and that can be measured several feet outside of the body. And this is why it's so important for us to keep a check on our emotional well-being. Now, let's move on to the brain and thought. Now, the person that explains this the best for me is both Dr. Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza. I'm going to see if I can try and find that video of Dr. Bruce Lipton's and link it in the description box below. But basically, in summary, what he says is that the brain is broken down into two parts: your conscious brain and your subconscious brain, right? The conscious brain is responsible for 5% of how we think, act, and show up in the world. 5%. The subconscious brain is responsible for 95% of how we think, act, and feel. 95%. Now, the thing about the subconscious brain is that it is unconscious. So 95% of how I'm thinking, acting, and feeling is unconscious. Now, the subconscious brain works very differently in terms of learning than the conscious brain does. The subconscious brain can be accessed in what they call a theta brain state, and all it's doing is basically downloading information and playing back what it's learned. Now, a theta brain state is the brain state that we're in when we're in hypnosis, basically. Now, here's where things get really interesting, okay? The first 7 years of your life, between 0 and 7, you're primarily in a theta brain state, which means all you're doing at this point is downloading information. Now, the primary role of your subconscious brain is to ensure survival. And nothing is more so than when you're between the ages of 0 and 7, because at that age, your survival is absolutely dependent on other people. So our need to belong to a tribe, a family, a group means that I'm going to survive. Anything that threatens my sense of belonging to that group means I'm going to be annihilated. Now, back in the day, that threat was the saber-toothed tiger. Today, it's emotional threat. So the subconscious mind then is constantly scanning the environment for that threat, and anything that threatens your sense of survival and has the possibility of having you annihilated, then the subconscious will create certain thought patterns and habits of behavior to ensure that you never feel that or come against that threat again. And this, it forms through neural pathways in the brain. So during the first 7 years of your life, you've basically been programmed. So in those first 7 years, you've already established where you fit in within the societal hierarchy based on the programming that you've downloaded, which is influenced by the environment that you've been brought up in. Everything after the first 7 years of your life is literally just a reenactment and a recreation of that primary download. Now, yeah, you're probably sitting there like, okay, great. So you're trying to tell me that everything that I've done up until this point was not exactly adulting, and that my sense of self has been based off of the interpretation of a 7-year-old, basically, okay? But there's good news. It can absolutely be changed. We can rewire our brain and get rid of self-limiting beliefs and create new positive thought patterns. Okay, so now that we've established that 95% of how we show up in the world is influenced by this download that we've established in the first 7 years of our lives. And if we've determined that both thoughts and emotions are energy and influence our vibrational frequencies, then when we look at the areas in our lives where we're struggling, it's easy to then see that we have probably downloaded a program that does not support the desired outcomes of that specific situation. So, great, we have all of this information. The next obvious thing is, how on earth do we then fix it? I'm so glad that you asked, and this is the most exciting part of the video. The method that I've been raving on about all this time is something called Emotional Freedom Technique, otherwise known as EFT, and is based on energy psychology. Now, it has its roots in Chinese traditional medicine and works on the concept of energy. Now, basically, in our body, we have a circuit of channels through which universal energy flows, and this is called our meridian system, right? Now, what happens is that when we have these disruptions in our energy through these negative emotions, there's a disruption in the flow of energy. Now, we have within the system acupuncture points, and if we try to conceptualize it, we can consider the meridian system as the conductor through which energy flows, and the acupuncture points as amplifiers. So all we're doing with this technique is focusing on the physical or the emotional challenge. We're tapping on specific acupuncture points to release this emotion from the energy system within us, or from our meridian system. Now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, is that it? Like, really? We're tapping on our body and that's it? How on earth does that influence and rewire my subconscious brain? I'm glad you asked. So the fascinating thing is that the more we release negative emotions from our body, the more we get into a state which is called heart rhythm coherence. Now, remember we said that both the heart and the brain talk to each other. There's a two-way communication. The more we establish heart rhythm coherence, the more we establish what we call heart-brain synchronization. And the stronger the heart-brain synchronization, the more entrained the brain gets to the heart, which means your heart is sending stronger signals to the brain, thus influencing it with these positive emotions, and that helps to rewire and reprogram all the negative self-limiting beliefs in the brain. This is nothing short of transformational. Now, because I wanted to keep this video short, I haven't included any tips or tools. I've done that in my next video. I take you through a complete EFT session, which you are more than welcome to use. I'm really excited for you to watch that video, and even more excited to hear your results. Now, this is the thing with EFT. You don't even necessarily have to believe it for it to work. So EFT has been proven to work on physical illnesses, both emotional and mental illnesses as well. But as a disclaimer, this is not meant to replace conventional medical treatment. So if you are currently on any kind of medication, please also seek the advice of your medical practitioner. Now, guys, I'm going to end this video here because I don't want to keep it too long. Please do check out the next video, which is the actual session. I am so excited for you to try it out, and more excited to actually hear your results. So please do share that with me. But for this video, I'm going to now do what every other YouTuber does. If you have found this informative, please leave a comment in the comment section below. But also like it, subscribe, share. I do one-on-one coaching sessions as well, so you can check that out on my website. It's linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. I will see you in the next video, and if you haven't heard it yet, remember that you are absolutely extraordinary.